Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Sandy with Urban Rebel Designs. When you hop on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. We have a very interesting project today. We are going to be creating what I like to call my warrior angel, and we're using my new obsession, which is WoodUBend products. And we're also using Dixie Belle paint. I use Dixie Belle on everything. So the colors that we're using today, I have already base coated my mannequin, and let me show you how it started out and what we're hoping to end up with. So it started out as one of these plastic half mannequins. And this is, I'm going to move this around. This is a bit of an involved project, but it's going to be beautiful. I was inspired, so this is sort of what we're going to end up with. So let me know what you think. I was inspired by Solly Jo Lewis, who is working on a mermaid. She is the creator of the WoodUBend products. And then I base coated my mannequin in French linen, which is another one of my new obsessions. And then I put some drop cloth on where it's not going to be covered. We're going to be making a book page skirt for her, and we may do some ruffles on the wings. But I wanted to show you a little bit about how this project is going to go. Good morning, Panama City. Are you all getting rain? Hi, Jerry. So I base coated with French linen and then went over it with some drop cloth. And if you're wondering why I did the French linen first, because we're going from such a dark color to a white, if you will base coat it in like a gray or a beige, it will help cover the dark, so when you go over it with the white, you get better coverage. I've already glued a few of my WoodUBend pieces on. This stuff is amazing. We're going to finish up the top piece here, then we're going to paint, and then we're going to put a few more embellishments on and finish up the WoodUBend. So what I have done, I've got a hot plate over here, and that's where I've got the pieces that I'm going to work with. And I just want to show you how flexible this is when it's heated. This is TR38, I believe. Yes. So it's trim roll 38. And look. Now this is created with wood fibers, so it can be stained or painted or whatever. When it cools, it hardens. It can be drilled or cut. I found out this morning the easiest way to cut it, especially on a form like this where you've got a lot of bends and stuff, is to heat it up, form it where you want it to be, and then I'm using my little whisk clippers that I got as a gift, I think, for our 28th anniversary. Mr. B's sitting over here. He's going to help me. But these are the perfect things to clip this with. Love them. So we're going to get started and get this piece glued on. Then we're going to paint using Steel Magnolias. Then I'm going to do the WoodUBend pieces in Gold Digger. Look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I'll probably go over the top of the Gold Digger with some Tobacco Road. This is, in my imagination, to represent my guardian angel. And let's face it, there are days when I'm pretty sure my guardian angel drinks and smokes. If she doesn't, she should. So all I'm using on this is wood glue, and I may have a little bit too much. This particular brand is Tight Bond. I've already molded this and cut it, so I'm just going to place it, and we'll hold it for just a couple of minutes. I'm going to get a spare set of hands in here to hold it. Everybody say good morning to Brian. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he's here. And then I have my little glue brush where I'm just going to brush away the excess because I got a little bit glue happy this morning. Now this will tack up fairly quickly. It does take this glue a little bit longer to dry, but it will tack up and hold fairly quickly. Just be gentle with her while you're working on her. So now we're going to paint her corset in Steel Magnolia. So I'm going to get this open. And at this point, because the Steel Magnolia is a little bit lighter than the Gold Digger, I'm not going to worry too much if I get a little bit of it on the WoodUBend. I'm not going to be real precious with it. And I am using my Dixie Belle flat small brush, and I'm just going to work out of the cap. I have found that French linen is the perfect base coat to Steel Magnolia. So we're just going to get this painted, really quickly. And if we have time today, I make I call it a true pearl glaze. It's not a pearlescent, so it's not going to have the iridescence that a pearlescent glaze would have, but it gives you the flat luster of a pearl, and I will show you how to make that. We're not going to be able to completely finish her on video today, but follow me on my page, and hopefully she will be finished by this afternoon because I'd like to have her hanging in my window. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm from Tennessee, so precious is in my vocabulary too. I'm just glad that all y'all understand what I mean when I say that. Let's see if this is tacked enough to let go. I believe it is. I did find out this morning, I'll give you a hint because I'm not perfect, and this is the first time I'm trying this. Thank you, Solly Joe, for the inspiration. I found on the plastic, because I base coated it yesterday and didn't give it time to cure, I tried to tape down a couple of these pieces because I was in a hurry this morning, and it did pull up the paint. You all know that I am a freak about cure time, so that was my fault. Let me know what you think about this project. Let me know if you think it's something that you would ever try. If you have not seen The Mermaid, you have to find it. It's amazing. It's hard for me to paint, think, and talk all at the same time. It's like my watch on occasion will tell me to breathe, drink water, and walk at the same time, and I swear it's trying to kill me. If I did that, I would choke. We're almost through with this, and we can get to the pretty parts. I have a question for you. Number one, what are you working on this weekend? I always love it when I get off my live and I go back through the comments and I see what everybody's working on. Because the good thing about being creatives is we inspire each other. So every Friday when I read the comments, I come up with new things I want to try for the next week. Okay, this right in here is going to need a second coat, but I'm going to let it dry because I do not want to overwork my paint. And I'm going to move on to painting our WoodUBend. Let's see, I'll try to hold her up when I'm doing that so you can see how beautiful this detail is. I'm going to have to make some room here. Okay, now we're moving to the Gold Digger, and that's what we're going to use on her embellishments. And I just stuck my arm in paint. And to do the embellishments, I'm just using an artist brush that I probably either picked up at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. And I am just, see if I can hold it up. Let me wipe the paint off my arm. So hopefully you can see. You kind of have to dab because the detail in this is gorgeous. And like I said, this is made with wood fibers, so it is a true wood product. And it is so easy to work with. I'll grab a piece here in just a minute when I get this finished and show you how flexible it is when it's heated. And I may have a piece over here next to me that I can show you how, what's a good word? Stable, rigid it is when it cools. Now everybody has their own way of doing things, and I think it's great. I love to watch other people work and get ideas from them. I have found that it's easier for me to heat the pieces, lay them on, let them cool so they mold. I'm gonna hold them down while they're cooling just so I get really good contact with my substrate. And then I glue them on. I know some people will heat it, get it flexible, put the glue on, which I think may help it adhere quicker. I'm not sure on that though. If there are any other WoodUBend stockists on here and you know the answer to that, could you help a girl out? Look at the depth of color in this gold digger. And it is gorgeous next to the Steel Magnolia, which happens to be one of my favorite of the new metallics. I can't look at the comments right now. I can't see if anybody's saying hello or asking questions. Mr. B, can you help me out with that?
Sure.
Okay.
Several hellos. We have Clemson, South Carolina,
Dallas, how are y'all holding up? I think you're getting some flooding, or is that south of you?
We had someone from Panhandle also.
My favorite area.
Donna Jones had a comment, it was WoodUBend ? So she may not be familiar with the product.
Okay, Donna, let me see if I can help you out there. So WoodUBend is flexible wood molding. It's flexible when it's heated. I am using just regular everyday wood glue to adhere it. I used a 2-part epoxy when I did the refrigerator. If you're not familiar with that, I believe that there is a video here on Dixie Belle's page. If not, there is definitely a video on my page, Urban Rebel Designs, that you can watch. We used WoodUBend on it. It is wood fibers that are suspended in, I'm going to say some sort of resin, and I'm getting that off the top of my head. But when it's heated, it's flexible, so it will mold to whatever you want to use it on. It's beautiful on furniture, but you all know me, I'm not normal. I like to use things off script, so to speak. My husband will tell me I can't do something, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out a way to make it happen. When I discovered WoodUBend, it pretty much changed my life. It was like the day I discovered Dixie Belle paint. So 2 things that I see being part of my life for years and years and years, and they go hand in hand. You can go to their website and find a stockist near you. And you can go, for those of you who don't know who your Dixie Belle retailer is, if you go to DixieBellePaint.com, there's a button there that says find a retailer. And I think you can set the distance and it will search that area and pop up with a list of retailers that are near you. I highly suggest, if you can at all, visit a retailer. You will get invaluable information. A lot of times when we're doing these live videos, there are things that we simply, because we're human, forget to tell you. Visit your retailer. They're going to tell you how to use all of the products. They're going to give you the correct information and save you a whole lot of headache. If you don't have a retailer, I am happy to be yours. Just send me a message and we can get everything set up. Yes, do we have another question?
You're a little bit off camera.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to see. Okay, so I don't have these side pieces yet, but I do have these painted so far. I want to get it up so you can see the beautiful sheen. Now, I'm going to see if this is, it's still cool, so it's not completely dry. This is a good tip. If you want to know if your paint is completely dry, I can touch it and I'm not pulling up paint, but it's still cool. Give it just a couple of minutes, it'll come to room temperature, and that's how you know it's dry. It's still going to have your 28 to 30 day cure time. So don't forget that. Just baby it for a little while. Yes.
We did have a question. Where did you get your mannequin?
I don't know. I've had these since the store opened. I'm not sure where I got them. Okay, now we're going to decorate her corset a little bit. I already have the pieces that we heated and measured and molded, so I could do this a little quicker on camera. And see if I can remember. I'm upside down now, so I'm gonna have to figure out. I think I have completely confused myself. We're gonna have to heat this one again. It won't take it long at all to heat up, so I'm gonna see if, no, that's not for that side. This way?
Yeah, see if it'll work out.
Ah! Alright, we can go ahead and glue this one on. Let me see if I can lay this out while this other one is heating, and you can see what the plan is. So I will have we have these cut so they fit together correctly, and you all would die laughing if you could see this, because Mr. B is sitting over here going flip it, flip it. So, if I can hold this up, hang on just a second, I've got a button that just popped up I've got to push. Okay. Now, you can see and I can see. So I'm going to try to hold it up. And we'll have another piece on this side. So let's get these two glued down, and Mr. B, I may have to have you help me again.
Sure.
The thin pieces, they heat up really quickly and they're really flexible. I think my glue just closed up. And honestly, y'all, I'm trying to buy a little time here so the gold can dry enough that I can show you the Voodoo gel stain that's going to go on top of it. And right there. Okay, I got a little bit of over glue here, so all I'm gonna do is take my glue brush and we're just gonna clean it up a little bit. I love anything that is so simple that all you have to have is wood glue. I'll go back and touch up these spots. Okay, can I have your finger? Okay. Can you hold it right there? There we go. Now I'm gonna get this other one. Actually gonna rinse my glue brush off a little bit. You moved it. Gotta hold it up here. Right there. Okay, now let's get this center one glued down. Get my glue brush again. A little spot there, okay. All right, Mr. B, thank you. I'm gonna hold these for just a couple of seconds. That one's tacked down pretty good. I'm gonna hold these for a couple of seconds and see if I can see any comment. Oh, I haven't heard that she's bringing out wood glue. I would love that. Okay, that's good. We're gonna see if this has tacked enough, and I believe it has. And we'll get the last piece on, and then we can move on to the Voodoo Gel Stain. Okay, in just that long, look at how flexible this is. And this is wood, people. So to make it easier for me, what I am doing is I am gonna hold it down and let it cool just a bit before I start to glue it. This is just how it works best for me. If it works best for you to do it another way, do it another way. Okay, here's my glue. I always use too much glue. And now we have her corset stays, for lack of a better term. We have her decoration. And you all just saw me paint the body, the torso. And I'm using this stiff little glue brush to wipe up the excess, and it's not pulling my paint at all. And this is on a plastic mannequin. I think that's pretty fabulous. I think we have a bus that just stopped out front. Okay, so I'm gonna let these dry completely, and we're gonna go back up here where I painted the gold digger, and I'm gonna use a little bit of the Tobacco Road Voodoo Gel Stain to go in here, age it a little bit, pop out some of these gorgeous details. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure that my Voodoo Gel Stain is shaken up really well. The Voodoo Gel Stain is water-based, so it's a water cleanup. It works beautifully with any of the paints. The No Pain Gel Stain is oil-based. It's the only oil-based product that Dixie Belle has at the moment. Anyway. So now I'm just gonna get another little artist brush, just a flat one. This one has been well used, as you can tell. And I'm just gonna dab a little bit. My paint's still a little bit wet, but that's okay. We'll make some beautiful colors here. I have poured my Voodoo Gel Stain into a little styrofoam box, and that's what I'm working out of. And I'm just kind of dabbing to make sure that it runs down into the creases and crevices. So when we wipe this back gently, it's just going to sit in those creases and crevices. It's going to help give us a little bit of an aged look, but it's also going to help pop out these details. So do we have any questions now?
We had a question or two, but it looks like they've been answered by some of your other audience members.
Cool. Thank you so much for helping me out. I am not coordinated enough to read, paint, glue all at the same time. This is where the beauty really starts to pop out. Okay. So now I'm going to take a soft cloth and I'm just gently wiping over the top. I'm not trying to get down into the creases to wipe out anything. I'm just wiping it off the top. And I have to say, this is turning out beautiful. My guardian angel's gonna be happy.
Tracy said hi.
Hi, Tracy. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm gonna try to get it close. So you can see here where I've done the Voodoo Gel Stain, how it gives it that old world gold look. You can see the difference here when I hold them up. And the only thing that I have done different on this one than I did on this one is the Voodoo Gel Stain. So we'll go in and do that here. We'll also paint her embellishments and then Voodoo Gel Stain that. I'll go back in and touch up whatever I need to on her torso. Let me really quickly, while I'm waiting on this to set just a little bit before we move to making our pearl glaze, I'll show you for this part. I just dropped it. This is number 1354. The larger trim roll is TR38. The smaller one is TR37. And I may end up using some 380 up on her shoulders because I would like for it to look like her wings are sitting on her shoulders. But
Will we show them a rigid one?
a rigid one, yeah. So when the WoodUBend comes in, it comes in rigid. It is a little fragile, but if you've ever worked with any of the wood appliques, you know that they're fragile. But it can be drilled or cut. If you break it, it's simple to put it back together. Just heat both sides, put a little bit of wood glue and stick it together and wait just a minute. But you can see Let me get it up here. That's how rigid it is when it comes in, and this is how flexible it is when it's heated. Look at that.
Solly Joe's on.
Hi, Miss Solly Joe. Thank you for the inspiration. And this is nowhere near as good as yours, but I'm trying. So now I want to make the pearl glaze to use on the places that I've painted drop cloth. And I'll give you an idea of how I'm going to do her skirt. So when I make a pearl glaze, I use gator hide. If I can get it open. I'm just going to pour a little bit in my cup so you can see how I do this. And I forgot to get a stir stick, so I'm going to use the end of a paintbrush. And then I use mica powder. This is called Gold Ghost Pearl. Transparent mica, small particle size. Before you ask, I got it from Amazon. I don't know. Heated how? You can heat it with a blow dryer. You can heat it with a heat gun. The easiest way when I'm working with multiple pieces for me is to keep a hot plate over here, and I just lay it on the hot plate. I'll try to, thinking if I can hold the hot plate up. I'll try to move the iPad in just a minute so you can see it. And I'm just going to use the end of a paintbrush to stir my mica powder in. And I'm just using gator hide and mica powder. And you want to get it stirred really well. And it looks like, I'll show you, hold this up and show you. When it's wet, it looks like the mica powder has disappeared. But when it dries, it's going to give you just that satiny sheen that gator hide normally gives you, but it'll have a little glitter, a little bling. So I'm going to paint it on right here on the neck. It's a very, very subtle effect. And it's not going to give you all of the iridescent colors that a pearlescent glaze will. This is just going to give you that really soft luster and sheen that a real pearl has. I'm going to have some spots to touch up, but that's okay. Get some of this on here so you can see the difference. And I like using the Ghost Pearl mica powders with this to mimic the gold that we're using on her dress. Okay, let me see if I can hold this up. Now the gator hide is still wet, so it's getting a little bit of a glare, but you can see how it gives it just a subtle sparkle, just a subtle sheen. And then, like I said, I'm going to use torn book pages for her skirt. And the plan, which is subject to change, as a creative, I reserve the right to change my mind at any moment. All I did was I took an old book that I had here in the shop, and I painted the edges of the pages with the Steel Magnolia because I want it to have just a hint of what the bodice has in it. I tore out a page and I'm wrapping it around a paintbrush, and then I will hot glue them. If I can hold her up again, I will hot glue it this way all around, and she will have layers and layers of ruffles. And then we have the gorgeous angel wings that I held up. Let me show you these. And these, all I did was painted them with the iron patina paint and use the green spray to let them rust a little bit. And they're made out of corrugated metal. So we will attach those to her back, if I can hold her up without sticking my finger in wet paint. And that's how she will look. I'll post a picture when she's finished. I'm hoping I get her finished today because I am obsessed with this idea and I will not be able to sleep until I get her done. Let me see if I see any questions. Thank you, Barbara. Yes, Susie, we do. So again, what I used on here was I used the French linen to base coat the bodice. I base coated the whole thing in French linen, then I used drop cloth to draw out her bodice and her chest and neck. We used WoodUBend, let me find the number, 1354 for the large piece at the top and the bottom. Then we used TR38 on the sides, and we used TR37. I painted the bodice with Steel Magnolia. I'm painting the WoodUBend with Gold Digger and doing a pearlescent glaze on the drop cloth. We have her rusted wings that we used the iron patina paint and the green spray. They will be attached to her after I get her skirt finished that I'm making out of old book pages. So if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to send me a message. I always love it if I can help. If I can't, I know where to find out, and I will do my best to help you. Hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll post a picture as soon as I have her finished. Go out and make your own warrior angel.